The Deck Network. Build a deck.
Bam! This is the Deck Network. I'm your host, Mike Danzolio, and we have right here the King of Queens, the loose cannon himself.
The co-host, Matt Dalton. Remember, here at the Deck Network, it's all decks all the time.
Very good, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay, so today's show, we're going to talk about the Guide to Composite Decking.
Ooh, this is the big one.
This is the good one. Last year we had almost close to 30,000 views.
People are watching
but
it.
The problem is it takes a long time. It takes about, every year it's so close to 30 minutes. So we're going to really do something drastic this year, try to get it down to 15. Okay, so the question is, why would you use composite decking over wood?
It's the $1 million question.
Yes, okay, so and that'll be called the value proposition of composite decking.
Okay.
Let's say, for instance, we have a 500 square foot deck. And Matt knows that there's 2.1 linear feet to a square foot of decking.
I mean, who doesn't know that?
Okay, so we have our value option at No Maintenance X here at $259 a linear foot. We have about 8 different colors. So 1,050 linear feet, that's 500 times 2.1 linear feet to a square foot times $2.59 a linear foot. It's $2,720 for the decking.
He just did that in his head. Pretty impressive.
Okay, so if we have treated decking using a 12 or 16 foot length, a high quality premium or a select line or a select grade of good decking will be about $1.20 a linear foot. So at 1,050 linear feet times $1.20, it's per linear foot, it's $1,260 for that 500 square foot deck. All right, it's
So out of the gate, it's a little bit cheaper on the
it's
surface.
definitely it's cheaper. But if you wanted to use 20 foot decking, you just can't even. 20 foot treated decking costs $2 a linear foot. So heck,
You might as well be getting a composite
You might as well
at
get the
that point.
composite. All right. So treated decking needs to be stained. When I used to build treated decks many years ago, I would put in the contract that this deck needs to be stained within 30 days, or it's going to crack and check, and it's going to do that. That's what it does. And once you have that damage, it's irreversible.
Okay.
So
So
you
right
have
out of
to
the gate,
stain
you're
that. So
staining.
if you're paying your $1,260 and about $2 a square foot to stain a deck, say a 500 square foot, there's $1,000 right there. So after the first year, you're in your first year and you're already at $2,200. You only saved $500. So you could. A lot of times people will say, "I do it every other year." But if you look at a deck that's stained and then the next year and you try to skip a year, you're going to have cracks and peels and all kinds of stuff on it. So
And doing the railings must be a pain in the butt.
lot of
I
work.
can picture
lot of work.
several Saturdays doing
So
that.
okay, let's go to your third year then, and you restain it that next year. You've already paid more money for that treated deck than you did for the composite deck. So the moral of the story is, if you don't care what your deck looks like, build it out of treated wood. But if you want it to look good, and most people do,
You're watching this video now, you care.
then you're going to have to stain it, take care of it, do something. And the cost of the maintenance plus the initial cost of the deck will be greater than that of the composite deck. Now, there's more to it because then there's the railings and then trim and fascia boards. But if you were to just exchange out the decking, wood decking for composite decking, those numbers will be accurate. And of course, if your house looks really nice, and then it's worth it to you to have a nicer deck.
Helps with resale
Yes.
value, I'm sure.
Okay, so people ask me all the time, Mike, why do you only talk about the top 2 brands, Trex, AZAC, which AZAC and TimberTech are together? The answer to that is that those 2 brands have about 85% of the market share where we are here on Long Island. So if we're looking at a pie chart, and I think Matt loves pie.
I'll take a cherry pie if we have.
Then 85% is almost the whole thing. You have 15% of a little slice of a pizza after that, and that's it. So then there's 20 or 30 or who knows how many other brands of composite decking, and then they're fighting it out for those 15%.
For the scraps, yeah.
And so one thing I always say about this type of decking is when you buy a product, you are gambling that that company is going to be there when you need them, or if and when you need them, in the form of a warranty. Bigger companies like Trex and AZAC, they've already withstood plenty of warranty claims. This thing was a new type of, a new field, the composite decking. It was never there.
The category didn't exist.
Yeah, it wasn't even there. So it took some growing pains, and sometimes you make a mistake, and then you pay for it, and then you move on. But the large companies can handle it. These smaller companies, you never know, they could be gone tomorrow. I've seen dozens of them in the last few years. Then the question is, tell me about the different types of composite decking. So there's three types. There's uncapped composite decking, there is capped composite decking, and then there is PVC decking. Right off the bat, we're going to say don't use uncapped composite decking. It's obsolete. It ran its course. It had problems with fading, and staining, molding, and these the real decking companies, they found that if they every year they kept putting more stuff, antimicrobials for this, stuff to make it not fade. And they said, well, let's just take all that extra additives out and just cover it with a thin layer of polyethylene and some additives, make it a nice color, put a nice wood grain on it, and then it looks great and it costs less.
Yep.
So, capped composite is the main piece of the style or category of the decking, and then there's PVC decking. PVC decking's been around since about 2004. ProCell sold that decking to AZAC, and it's been around ever since. And right now they got some beautiful decking. Some of this AZAC vintage stuff is just great. So when we talk about composite decking, the question always is, how is it sold and how expensive is it? So over the years, the decking companies have come up with a good, better, best sales scenario, meaning that you can have a lesser price one, a mid-range one, and a higher price one. So that seems to have what has stuck. So here at No Maintenance Decks, we carry Trex, AZAC, and TimberTech. So I have some decking prices here.
Okay.
So on the value options that we spoke about earlier, Trex Select is at $259 a linear foot, and then TimberTech Terrain is, I think there's three or four colors at $259 and two colors at $289. They have streaks on them, so they cost a little bit more.
Yep.
So that's a value option right there. And then Trex has Trex Enhance, which is a product that is pretty much sold at the big box, Home Depot, Lowe's, that type of place, and that's about $289 a foot, linear foot. I'm calling that a do not buy.
Okay.
It's an old look to it. They used a lot of wood in the shell, and you can see it. One of my friends calls it the dandruff that it has. But I think that the Select is better at that price range because the colors are just better,
and it's cheaper.
Yeah, it's just a little bit better product.
Yep.
All right, so let's go into the mid-range products. And when we get to the Trex Enhance is a mid-range product. And then for the TimberTech, you have the tropical colors. They're about $389 a linear foot. So there's quite a jump between.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, because people want the stuff that looks nicer. And if you just keep looking at the shows, we got some beautiful decking right now that's out. So Trex has their product at their Transcend product at $389 a linear foot. We're going to say that's still at a mid-range price. And Trex doesn't have a product in the high-range price. They're building it. They're making the product as we speak right now. And it'll be out soon. It's supposed to be beautiful, but it's going to be a higher-priced product. So they're going to have something for everybody. Then the TimberTech, we have the TimberTech Legacy is a higher-priced decking, so the best. It's about $429 a linear foot, but it's beautiful. It has the nice little ridges in it, the hand-scraped finish, all sorts of different colors. They have, I think, 7 colors of the TimberTech Legacy.
You can see a big difference between the Legacy and the Tropical? Just in
Oh
the
yeah,
aesthetics of it?
Oh yeah, but it's only about 40 cents. What is it? $389 to $429.
Yeah,
That's
not a
40
huge
cents.
jump.
It's not that much. That's why we sell much more of the Legacy. So in the AZAC, we have the Harvest collection, which is their standard PVC decking that's been out for many, many years. They have a few different colors in it, and that ranges in price from $3.85 a foot to $3.99 a linear foot. Then they have their Arbor collection, which is they kept the price steady on it. It's going to be $4.39 this year. That has a nice hard shell on it. The PVC generally is very, very pretty, but it may not be as tough. It's pretty much like average toughness. And then we have the AZAC Vintage collection, which is my favorite one. This is the nicest decking on the market, far and away.
Wow.
It's $469 a linear foot. It looks great. They have 6 colors in it, and they came up with a color this year, Coastline. It's just a gray. It looks just great.
It's got the Deck Network stamp of approval on it.
Yeah. That would be something that people always ask me all the time. What would you want to put on your house. AZAC Vintage.
You go vintage.
Now, you can see a lot more about these products that we just spoke about. We're trying to keep the length of this show down. You can look at the Deck Network and look at the different shows, the Trex Decking Show,
Tons of content.
the AZAC, the TimberTech Decking Show. You can also look at the 2-minute decking shows. Over the years, as we've been doing the Deck Network, we found that people want to watch shorter videos. So we have a new series. It's just coming out now. It's on the Deck Network. It's called 2-Minute Decking. And whereas you
Hope I have enough time to do my thing in those videos.
And, you were cut.
Oh,
And it wasn't. It wasn't. A
I'm finding out here live on the show. Okay.
I've already done the shows.
right. Not in that one.
We don't have the time to be yucking it
It's
up
like
on
a
that
spin-off
show. Yeah,
of this
well, yeah,
show.
it's just a shorter version.
Snackable
2 minutes,
media,
We
in
talk
and out.
about Trex Transcend, TimberTech Legacy, or AZAC Vintage, and that's it.
Okay.
We'll take a look at a few pictures, take a look at the website.
And you're out.
It's got a new format. People seem to be watching that. So we kept it under 15 minutes.
We did a good job.
And if you have any questions or comments, you can send them to me, Mike at thedecknetwork.com, or
Matt at thedecknetwork.com.
have all your questions. This year, Matt must have did really good on some of these first few shows, but we haven't had too much hate mail.
Yeah, we're waiting for that. So
Yeah.
come on, bring it
Well,
on.
Last year was a
It was a tough year.
yeah,
it was a tough year.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, the internet. You know, the internet loves you at the end of the day,
okay.
and that's what's important.
So that's it for today's show. Thanks for watching. Don't the Deck Network, and check out 2-Minute Decking.
And still watch these shows too, because I need a job.
Thanks. Thanks for watching. Ciao for now.
See you later. Bye bye.